They have no clue how Justin Bieber found this jacket or attained it because there was only about 10 made in all of existence. What's up guys, my name's Levi. This is Shred Shop connecting you to skateboarding. And today we're doing 14 things you didn't know about Skull Skates. In this episode, we're going to talk about how they are one of the longest lasting skateboard companies on the planet, how they got their name, what massive skate brand was inspired by their logo, famous celebrities caught wearing Skull Skates, and so much more. If you guys like the videos that we put out, the best way to support us and to get more videos that you like is to like, subscribe, and comment. I know it's cheesy, but it's the best way for us to give you what you need. As well, always support your local skate shop. Stay out of the malls. Find your local store. If you don't have one in your town or city, go to the town or city over, or shop online at local skateboard shops only. That's the best way to support skateboarding. The start. Brothers Peter and Rick Dukeman are living in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Older brother Rick starts skateboarding in the mid-60s, and younger brother Peter starts in the early 70s. So they are definitely pioneers to skateboarding. Rick heads down to California, which is skateboarding's mecca. When he comes back, he brings back stuff for his brother and his friends. He keeps going back and forth, and eventually the list gets longer and longer of what people want him to bring back. In April of 1978, they formed Great North Country Skateboards. Even though they had been experimenting at making skateboards in years prior to this, this was the year that they officially started. The name would later be shortened to GNC Skates. The original GNC logo was a yin-yang inspired by the Town & Country Surfboards logo. GNC releases their first boards out of Rick's garage, and they're doing mail order. So if you look at these dates, it actually makes it Canada's oldest skateboard company and one of the world's oldest still running skateboard companies. It's interesting to note that Peter's nickname is PD, which is based off of Tony Alva's TA nickname. The logo. When the brand is still called GNC Skates, PD hand carves a huge skull into his grip tape, and his brother looks at it and says this should be the new logo. This is why the logo is so bold and basic, because the very first version was hand carved and peeled up out of grip tape. So if you look closely, there's no little fine details, it's just a skull. The original version of this logo still said GNC Skates next to it. Then people would see the logo around town and the brand running around, and they would see the word skates written underneath the skull, and they just started calling it Skull Skates. So after people started calling it Skull Skates, they kind of just switched to that, and it worked out. And in 1979, they closed their Saskatchewan location and opened one up in Vancouver. The store in Vancouver gets the name PD's Hot Shop, which was thought up by the older brother Rick. Powell Peralta. There's rumors that the skull-heavy artwork of Powell Peralta was originally influenced by Skull Skates. On the early days of skateboards, not many brands would even put graphics on the bottom of their boards. They would just take and put their logo on the bottom of the board. That's just kind of how it was. Rumor has it that when famous skateboard artist VCJ approached Ray Bones Rodriguez for his very first pro model on Powell Peralta, Ray said, "I want skulls on the bottom of my board." There's photos from years prior where Ray was skating with Skull Skate stickers on his helmet. Although we cannot confirm or deny these rumors, we think it's pretty coincidental, and it's rad to think that the skulls and dark graphics done by VCJ that influenced an entire generation were inspired by a little skateboard company in Canada. VCJ has gone on to be one of the most influential and well-known skateboard artists of all time, and the Ray Bones Rodriguez graphic for Powell Peralta was his very first art he ever put on a skateboard. The US chapter. In 1983, the US chapter of Skull Skates begins. At this time, Rick's acting career is taking off, so he's spending a ton of time in California. They open a Skull Skates warehouse in LA, and they immediately get dragged into the NorCal, SoCal drama in skateboarding in the States. It's crazy to note that Ron Race, the Black Flag vocalist, used to be a screen printer for Skull Skates in LA back in the day. The US chapter lasts around 5 years before they decide to just close up shop, leave the drama, and focus on Canada. The US chapter was so important because it built a lot of relationships between iconic pros and skull skates. They also opened a location in Japan in 1994, and that location is still there. The team. Over the years, the Skull Team list of names is kind of like a skateboarding hall of fame. When Skull opened in Vancouver, they were instantly embraced by the Jax crew. This is an iconic skateboard crew that originated in San Francisco, has a heavy influence on the West Coast and in East Vancouver. Fetus was one of the original people in the Jax crew, as well as Carlos Longo, and both of them were a big part of the history of Skull Skates. Steve Olson was Skull Skates' first ever pro skateboarder, which, if you don't know who that is, that's Alex Olson's dad. He famously creates the checkerboard falling apart graphic, which symbolizes his falling apart relationship with Santa Cruz. Over the years, they've made boards for legendary pros like Dave Hackett and Dwayne Peters, Todd Swank, Mondo, Johnny Ray, Ricky Stiles, and Phil E., who designed one of the very first ever Big Nose boards. They've also made boards for Canadian legends like Mark Tisson, Barry Walsh, Dearman of Darkwoods, Chris Haslam, Moses Ikonen, Kevin Harris, and Sluggo. It's also interesting to note that Barker Barrett and Bucky Lassick were both AM at one time for Skull Skates. Hammerheads. Christian Hosoi Hammerhead boards were released on Skull Skates. The shape was designed by Christian Hosoi, and the logo was designed by his father, Ivan Hosoi. It came in 3 sizes: mini, mid, and max. When Hosoi decides to leave Sims and start Hosoi Skateboards, he approaches PD at Skull Skates and wants them to distribute and manufacture his boards. When Hosoi leaves Sims and starts Hosoi Skateboards, he's at the height of his career. They said that he was selling over 10,000 boards a month worldwide, which makes it, at that time, easily the best-selling board and definitely one of the best-selling skateboards of all time. These boards were so popular that they had bootleg boards that were the same shape and style as Hosoi boards popping up everywhere. This inspired the ad, The Real Hosoi Skateboards. It said, if it doesn't say Skull Skates on the board, it's not authentic. There was at least 3 companies making knockoffs or ripoffs. There's also rumors that Hosoi was collecting royalties from maybe more than one board brand at a time. Eventually, the bootleg versions started putting Skull Skates logos on their board to try to hop on the train of authenticity, but this pissed off the Skull Skate dudes because they knew that the bootleg versions would warp and they just weren't as good a quality as what they put out. In an interview, PD said that this is the biggest hassle that he's ever had to deal with the brand. Band boards. Skull has a rich history in the music scene. They probably have the biggest catalog out of any board brand of music influence, music inspired, or music collaboration boards. In the 80s, the Skull Skates brand manager was Jerry Hurtado, aka Skate Master Tate. He was the host of Skate TV on Nickelodeon.
Hi, I'm Skate Master Tate, and today you'll be seeing a bountiful bevy of battle, bebop, skiddly bop, skidak, skate moves that you will not believe.
Through the show and network, he had a ton of relationships with so many different bands, so he was a big part of making the collaborations happen with Skull. Some of the band boards that they have made over the years include Social Distortion, Gangrene, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, DOA, the Vandals, the Hives, SNFU, Mocha Only, Blasphemy, and loads more. Funny fact is when Nardwuar interviews Pharrell, he hands him a Skull Skates book in the middle of the interview. Pharrell was hyped.
Here, this is a book, Skateboarding Vancouver, for you, Pharrell and Shay, and this celebrates skateboarding in Vancouver and the history of skateboarding as well.
Wow.
No cell phones. If you go to PD's Hot Shop, they have a pretty strict policy of no cell phones and no photos taken inside the store. The name Hot Shop came from the BMX world. SE Racing used to call their store the Hot Shop. Rare and limited. It's cool to note that Skull Skates has never stopped releasing or making crazy shaped boards. Although there is many different brands that make crazy shapes now, they did it long before it was flavor of the month. They've always had a wide variety of long boards, short boards, experimental wheelbases, and widths. They've also been known to do some pretty cool collabs over the years, including Circa and Spitfire, Sparrow Guitars, RDS, Endeavor Snowboards, ProTech, Gullwing, and many more. Some other iconic boards that they put out were the famous Dead Guys board and the CCCP Russia board. They also had this famous Canadian duo series that got them in hot water. It had Rick and Julian, Terry and Diener, and Bob and Doug McKenzie. Skull and other things. In the 80s, Skull Skates started making snowboards. PD was one of the earliest people to sell and produce snowboards in Canada. This was back when snowboarding was banned on the ski hills.
Snowboards come down the slopes, and they'll go right in between the skiers, and we'll kick them off, and they'll just lip us off. And they're dangerous.
And they tend to lip you off. You ask them very nicely to leave, that they're endangering the public and possibly themselves. And they swear at you, they tell you to get lost, mind your own business. So it's quite a problem for us, really.
So he was a huge part of pioneering snowboarding at the beginning. PD started Crystal Ocean Snowboards, which was a pretty big snowboard brand back in the day. Some of their boards ended up in the book, A Brief History of Snowboards. This book is produced by the Snowboarding Museum, and it details some of the most sought after and rare snowboards of all time. Skull Skates also made longboards and skimboards. They even made bikes for a while, making multiple different sizes of BMX bikes. Interesting story is one time they shipped a bike to the UK. 5 months later, it was returned, saying that the customer never picked it up. They contacted the customer, got his contact info, resent the bike, and then 8 months after that, it was sent back to them saying the customer never picked it up. They Googled the name of the person who bought it. The last name was Jagger. They realized that it was Mick Jagger's son. He never did pick up the bike. Celebrity sightings. Over the years, tons of celebrities have been seen wearing Skull Skates products. Skull got their Hollywood debut when Rick was starring in the Hollywood movie The Burbs. Apparently, Vision Skateboards paid thousands of dollars in order for skaters in the movie to be wearing their gear, and Rick pulled aside one guy while they were filming and paid him $100 to put on a Skull Skates shirt. The shot with the Skull Skates shirt was one of the most memorable shots from the entire movie.
Hey, man, when's the big unveiling, huh? Look, I gotta go to work in a couple hours, you know.
Hey, man, piss off. Ricky,
Yo,
get this lame-o out of your yard.
get out of my yard, lame-o. Hey!
Tom Green is always seen wearing Skull Skates gear. As well, he has a guest pro model on Skull Skates. Van Halen was seen wearing a Skull Skates shirt on a Guitar magazine cover. Slayer's lead guitarist, Jeff Hanneman, always had a Skull Skates sticker on his guitar. The drummer for Milli Vanilli was wearing a Skull Skates long sleeve in one of their music videos. It's also been seen in INXS music videos. One day, a concierge from a high-end hotel walked into PD's Hot Shop looking for 10 identical Skull Skates hoodies. Apparently, he was a part of Kanye West's on-tour road crew, and he was buying it for their whole entourage. Last but not least, if The Burbs is the start of their Hollywood career, Justin Bieber's new music video shows just how far they've come. In this music video, Justin is seen wearing a retro Skull Skates team jacket. They have no clue how Justin Bieber found this jacket or attained it because there was only about 10 made in all of existence. Apparently, they are so rare, they were only given out to team riders, and so no one has any clue where he got it from. Andy Anderson. Andy Anderson has been a PD Hot Shops local. He pretty much grew up in the store. He's learned a lot of skateboard history from the boards and basically the whole store being a skateboard history museum. You can see a Skull Skates sticker on most of his boards, and he almost always has a Skull Skates patch on all of his clothing. They also say that Andy Anderson might have gained some inspiration for the shape of his board from a Hans Lindgren board that was in the shop from back in the day. Skateboard Museum. Skull Skates has an amazing virtual skateboard history museum on their website. We've got the link down below. The Vancouver Museum did a skateboarding exhibit using Skull Skates. It was so successful that it ran multiple times, and it came out as a book. If you're a skateboard nerd, you have to check out this website. Barrier Cult. Barrier Cult has always had a strong affiliation with Skull Skates. They've done a board with Barrier Cult, and Dear Man of Dark Woods can always be seen repping Skull Skates. Rumor has it that a few members of the Barrier Cult will be seen stirring stuff up inside PD's Hot Shop at any given time. Beware. Rumor has it that the members of Barrier Cult walk into the store, ignore all the employees, go straight to the back room, and sit down with PD. Rumor has it that multiple fights have been started in PD's Hot Shop with the Barrier Cult guys. They've also been known to have a reputation of erratic behavior. A funny fact is that in Skate 3, you can see the Skull Skates logo in there because Dear Man of Darkwoods is one of the characters. As well, on Dear Man of Darkwood's vest, he has all these bands' patches on there. But in the video game, they had to make up fake band names and logos for the patches on the jacket so they didn't have to pay royalties to the bands. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Levi, this is Shred Shop, connecting you to skateboarding, and you just watched 14 things you didn't know about Skull Skates. Let us know below what your favorite fact was in this video, where you're watching from, and what brand should we do next, as well as any other comments or beef or hate you want to start. Let's go. Also, if you guys like this video and other videos that we put out for you, the best way to support us and to make sure you're getting what you need is to like, subscribe, and comment below. Even if you're roasting us, telling me I look like the dude from Jay and Silent Bob, I don't care. Let us know below. I'll probably comment back and tell you about how kooky you are too, so we'll be best friends. Stay tuned for Comment of the Week. We got a spicy one for you. It is from my best friend on the internet, Nomus Vagabond. He said, yeah, I like this. I never gave nothing to Amazon. Always skate to the local shop where they're the same people. This guy knows what's up. If you're shopping, you're buying your skate gear, your skate clothes, or all around just want to look dope, shop at your local skate shop or online at a local skate store. Not a big mall shop, stay out of there. That is the best way to keep skateboarding alive and to keep your skateboard community growing. Nomus Vagabond knows. Shout him out. Boom.